For Valentine's Day, I wanted to try something a little different this year. It's a manufactured holiday, invented by corporations to get you to spend more money. So instead of buying a dozen roses and a box of chocolates that took you all of 5 minutes to buy at the grocery store, I wanted to give YouTube something from the heart. On top of our cake today, we're going to put a human heart. I'm going to use an anatomical heart as my frame of reference. And if you were ever to draw anything or sculpt anything, don't feel bad if you need a frame of reference. Not everybody has a photographic memory, and few of us have ever actually cut out a heart and looked at one. So apparently the human heart is a little bit bigger than your fist, and so that's the size comparison that I'm going to be using. The core of my heart I'm going to make out of Rice Krispie treats. That'll provide a good dense structure for me to wrap the fondant around. And this is actually only the second time I've ever even touched fondant, so you know it's going to be good. In order to make Rice Krispies, we need 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 4 cups of Marshmallow Fluff, and 6 cups of Rice Krispies. Mix it up. I'm going to press this down with some parchment paper, and I'm going to let it cool off for a little bit so the marshmallow can cool and really create that adhesive that we need to make the Rice Krispies stick together. Let's make ourselves a heart. There was a reason I was going to put this on parchment paper. Use the parchment paper to squish this down and make it really dense and shape it into as human heart-like as you can. It's basically an egg with a fat end on one side and a skinny end on the bottom. Look, a left ventricle. I am not the authority on fondant whatsoever. Like I said, this is only the second time I've ever touched this stuff, so take whatever I say with a grain of salt. I did my research, I'm trying to help. I like making stuff that looks cool and tastes good. It's what I do. So apparently you're supposed to warm it up first with your hand by kneading it a little bit. There we go. My goal is to roll this out into a thinnish layer to wrap around the Rice Krispie treat. And then I have another packet of fondant that I'm going to use for the veins and the ventricles. I hope it's not lost on anyone that the tool that they gave you to work with fondant looks like a scalpel and we're making a heart. Wonderful. Alright, we need to make the cake for our heart to stand on. I'm making my cake from scratch today using cake flour. If you were going to do this at home, you could definitely do it using just a regular old box cake. Those are specially formulated to come out perfect every single time. So don't feel obligated to make your cakes from scratch at all. This happens to be a YouTube channel, so I'm going the extra mile. We're going to start by combining all of our dry ingredients first. 3 2/3 cups of cake flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Whisk this together and set it off to the side. All right, for the wet ingredients, we need 1.5 cups of butter. This needs to be softened to room temperature. 2 cups of sugar. Next, we're gonna add 3 whole eggs and 2 egg whites. Again, these also need to be at room temperature. 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And 1.5 cups of buttermilk. This also needs to be at room temperature. I didn't have any buttermilk on hand, so I did the substitute method. 1 tablespoon of vinegar per 1 cup of milk will get the job done here. We're baking this cake in 3 9-inch round tins, and we're gonna bake these at 350 degrees for about 25 minutes. For our vanilla buttercream, we will again need 1.5 cups of butter. This again needs to be softened to room temperature. 6 cups of confectioner's sugar, 1/3 cup of whole milk, 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. The heart going on top of my cake has been freshly cut out, so we need to make some blood. 1 cup of corn syrup, 2 tablespoons of water, 2 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1 tablespoon of chocolate syrup, and 2 tablespoons of red gel food coloring. And just mix this up until all of the cornstarch gets dissolved. Right, that looks pretty good. And go ahead and put this off to the side until we need it. This will be the very last thing we use. All right, so our cakes have had a chance to cool. When I say these need to cool, I mean let them cool all the way down. They shouldn't be lukewarm or anything. You could even go as far as putting these in the freezer to make sure that they're all the way cold and firm, so that when you cut and level these, they don't rip apart. Because these are from scratch cake, they're gonna be a little bit softer than you're used to if all you've ever cooked with is boxed cake, so just be careful. Layer 1. We're gonna put about 1 inch or less of frosting in between layers. If you notice here, my oven is not level, and so my cakes didn't bake level. More you know. Layer number 2. And the great thing about tiered cakes and buttercream frosting is that the tiered cakes never are perfect, but we can hide all the mistakes. Some would say that the cause for the deleted scene is an asteroid, a comet, a meteor. Some would say it's just my big fat thumb. Alright, it's far from perfect, and I ended up getting some cake crumbs in my frosting when I was trying to smooth it out, so that's what you see here, and I'm not making more frosting, so let's go. Alright, so now we have our cake, we have our heart, we have our blood. Let's make something special. So I could potentially throw some fondant around the buttercream here and make it really sheen and make it pretty. I also could make some more buttercream and smooth this out a little bit and cover the blemishes a little bit more, but it's about the heart. And I think our blood here is gonna cover a lot of this anyways. I have a 2.5 inch cake ring that I'm gonna put in the center of my cake to set the heart on. Now I'm putting the blood on here. Less is more. We cannot take stuff off of the cake. So we're gonna do 1 spoonful at a time and see how it goes. Happy Valentine's Day. Let's see what our cake tastes like. The buttercream frosting is very, very rich and delicious. The cake has a good vanilla flavor, but in this instance, it did turn out a little dry. Still good cake though. And it looks like this. Very rich frosting. Woo! I have diabetes now. Thanks for cooking with me again today, guys. If you liked a non-traditional Valentine's Day gift cake, please like and subscribe. If you just like the cool and gruesome, please like and subscribe. Yeah, pretty cool, not too shabby. And don't forget, fresh cut hearts are better than fresh cut roses.